first story begins with a honeymoon couple in Las Vegas, where something was discovered in their hotel room that no one could have imagined. Vacations are usually meant for relaxation and happiness, but sometimes those same vacations turn into terrifying nightmares. In today's video, you'll hear real vacation horror stories that will leave you shocked. Story 1. The Hotel Room in Las Vegas. A man and a woman went to Las Vegas for their honeymoon and checked into a suite at a hotel. When they got to their room, they both noticed a terrible smell. The husband called the front desk and asked to speak to the manager. He explained that the room smelled very bad and that they would like another suite. The manager apologized and explained that the hotel was completely booked because of a convention. Instead, he offered to send them to a restaurant of their choice for lunch, compliments of the hotel. He also said he would send a maid to clean the room and try to remove the smell. After enjoying lunch, the couple returned to their room. But the smell was still there. The husband called the front desk again and told the manager the room still smelled terrible. The manager tried calling other hotels on the strip to find them another room, but every hotel was fully booked because of the convention. The manager told the couple they couldn't find another room, but the housekeeping staff would clean the suite again. The couple decided to go out and see the sights and do some gambling, giving the hotel staff 2 hours to clean the room. Once the couple left, the manager and the housekeeping staff went through the entire suite trying to find the source of the smell. They searched everywhere. They replaced the sheets and towels. They removed the curtains and installed new ones. They cleaned the carpet and scrubbed the entire suite with the strongest cleaning products they had, but they still couldn't find the source of the odor. 2 hours later, the couple returned. The smell was still there. Now furious, the husband decided to search for the source of the smell himself. He began tearing apart the entire room. Finally, he pulled the top mattress off the bed. And underneath it, he found the dead body of a woman. Story 2. The Honeymoon Attack. My wife and I were on our honeymoon in Hawaii, on the island of Oahu. We were sitting on the beach when my wife got up to go to the bathroom. When she came back, she told me there was a creepy man watching her as she walked into the restroom. When she tried to leave, he blocked her path. She only managed to escape because 2 other people were walking into the restroom, forcing him to move aside. I asked her what the man looked like, but when she looked around again, he was gone. Our hotel was within walking distance from the beach, so we went back quickly. On the way, we reported the suspicious man to a police officer walking along the beach. Later that evening, we went out for dinner at a nice seafood restaurant and walked around afterward. Around midnight, we finally returned to our room and started to relax. Then there was a knock on the door. I looked through the peephole and saw a man wearing a maid uniform standing outside. I opened the door slightly, and he immediately tried to force his way inside. I pushed him back and asked what he wanted. He said he had left something in the room earlier while cleaning and needed to retrieve it, but that didn't make sense. We had left the Do Not Disturb sign on the door all day. Then I noticed he was staring at my wife. Suddenly, my wife screamed. "That's the man." Before I could react, the man lunged at me. He grabbed my throat with one hand and pulled out a knife with the other. He started swinging it wildly. If my wife hadn't grabbed a lamp and smashed it into his face, I probably would have been dead. The noise brought people out from neighboring rooms. Someone started screaming. The police were called, and the hotel staff arrived. It became a huge scene, but we were just grateful to still be alive. Story 3. The Highway Trap. My wife, our 2 kids, and I were driving from New York to Florida to go to Disney. We were already in Georgia, close to the Florida border. It was around 11 p.m., and I planned to finish the drive that night to save money on a hotel. My wife and kids were asleep as I drove down the quiet highway. There were almost no other cars. Then, far ahead, I noticed two flashing red lights. They weren't police lights. They looked more like SOS lights. As I got closer, I saw a car parked in the middle of the road, blocking traffic. Two cones and two flashing lights were placed on the road. Then, two hooded men stepped out from behind the car and began walking toward us. I immediately put the car in reverse. One of the men came up to my window. I cracked it open slightly. He said, "Open the door." That's when I saw him reaching into his pocket. I slammed the window shut, shifted into drive, and hit the gas. I drove straight over the cones and lights and sped past their car. A minute later, headlights appeared behind us. They were chasing us. Then suddenly there was a loud pop. The car began losing control. Another loud pop followed. Our tires had been blown. The car chasing us began ramming the back of our vehicle. My kids were crying, my wife was screaming on the phone with 911, and I was sure we were going to die. Then, suddenly, I heard a siren. Red and blue lights appeared in the distance. The men chasing us immediately turned off the highway and fled. The police followed them. Later, we learned our back tires had been shot out. Luckily, the police managed to catch the two men. Story 4. The Car in the Crops. When my sister was in her 20s, she went on vacation with her husband to St. Martin. They rented a car to explore the island. One day they were driving along a remote scenic road when they noticed a rusty blue car stuck halfway in the crops beside the road. Her husband stopped and got out to check if anyone inside needed help. He looked through the windows. Then, suddenly, he jumped back. My sister got out to see what was wrong. They looked underneath the car, and what they saw was horrifying. Two grown men were hiding under the car with large knives in their hands. Between them was a bloody, dead body. Her husband shoved her back into the car, jumped in, and sped away. They drove until they reached the nearest town and called the police. My sister has never been the same since that day. Story 5. The Cruise Ship Intruder. When I was 16, my whole family went on a Royal Caribbean cruise. One night, my older brother and I went to the nightclub on the ship. Inside, I noticed a creepy older man staring at me from across the room. Every time I moved, his head followed me. I felt extremely uncomfortable and left. Later that night, after hanging out with my sister and her boyfriend, I went back to our cabin to sleep. When I got there, the door was slightly open. I knew we had closed it earlier. Inside, everything looked normal, so I assumed my brother had come back earlier and forgotten to shut the door. I went to sleep. Later that night, I woke up to the feeling of something touching my cheek. It was a hand. Half asleep, I told my brother to knock it off. Then I realized my brother wasn't in his bed. I screamed. My brother jumped up and turned on the lamp. Standing beside my bed was the same creepy man from the nightclub. My brother tackled him, and we both fought him until our parents rushed into the room. Security arrived shortly after and arrested the man. He spent the rest of the cruise locked in the ship's jail. But even today, I still can't bring myself to go on another cruise.